Welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene. I am your host, Bubba Starts, and with me today is my friend Nikki, who is the founder of TokioTours. Welcome to the show, Nikki.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, and I intentionally left your last name out because we found out that I couldn't pronounce it properly.
Yes, my full name is Nikki van Ingen Schenau. I'm poor Dutch nobility.
How fun. But you are not living in Europe anymore, correct?
Yes, I am. In 2011, I moved to Tokyo and I lived there for 10 years. And that's where I founded Tokyo Tours back in 2013 when I started to do guided tours on the advice of a friend of mine. And then in 2020, my business was supposed to have the best year ever because of the Olympics. So I was like, oh, okay, there's this COVID thing going on, but I mean, they've poured so much money in the Olympics. They're not going to cancel the effing Olympics. Come on. And then they canceled it.
And then they did. Yeah.
Yes. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I've been here for 10 years. I'm kind of fed up with everything. And maybe this is a good time to go home. I'm starting to get broke. So at least if I go back to Amsterdam, there's still a semblance of a chance that I might find some gainful employment and be able to dig myself out of this financial hole. So I did that. And since 2018, I have a partner for Tokyo Tours. I asked one of my guides that had been working for me since 2015, would you care to sell the business for me? And she said, no, that's a terrible idea. I wouldn't dream about it. But would you consider having me on as a partner? And then I was like, hmm, that sounds good. What do you have in mind? So she lives in Tokyo and she's married to a Japanese guy, has two Japanese kids or half. And she does all the planning and all the admin and all of that. So I don't necessarily have to be there to run the business because she does most of the operational stuff from Tokyo. So it's actually benefit that I'm here because most of the travel agents that we work with are actually situated in Europe. So it's easy for me to hop on over and like, how are things going? Are you guys still happy with our service? Is there anything we can improve on? Or if I have new ideas or new business ventures, I can talk to them like, now we also offer private drivers. So if you guys want that instead of taking the subway or train, then we can do that as well. So yeah, it works really well. I'm so happy to be back in the Netherlands where everyone is like, I effing hate you. Instead of Japanese people just like, oh, 大丈夫です、大丈夫、全然問題ないよ. And behind your back, it's
After
like, oh,
after 10 years of niceties, you were over it, huh?
mm,
I
yeah,
don't
just
ever
tell
want to
me to
see a
my
polite
face.
person again.
Yes,
And
I
I'm
hate
sure
you too.
you sound American.
Yeah, well, I'm more like, well, we have the Dutch directness. Like, we'll just, I mean, you can go up to your boss and you can say, you know what, Ben, you're a fucking asshole. And then he's like, well, you have a point. Let's talk about it.
No wonder I get along with the Dutch so well.
Yes, we tell it like it is. We get straight to the point. Like in Japan, it's like, oh, the weather is slowly changing. The skies are becoming gray. I sometimes see a snowflake falling down, and they go on for like 3 hours. And then finally, okay, well, maybe we should talk about business. I think we have 5 minutes left, or maybe we should schedule this for another time. Like, oh my God, what have I been doing here?
Just a different speed on that island, aren't they?
Oh yes, it's all. I don't know if you've seen that series Shogun.
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's really good. It's on Disney Plus. But it the only thing I didn't like about it, there's one foreigner in there, and in one situation he's talking in perfect Japanese with also good pronunciation, I must say. And then the next scene, he's like, you, not go, not right. And like, what? You were just talking like full sentences,
Get
like
the
proper
other voiceover
conversation.
guy back in here.
Yeah, and suddenly you're like, no go, no go. I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But other than that, they really showed like one guy made a fool of himself. Sorry, this is a spoiler alert. And his entire bloodline had to be erased, which is a thing in Japan. So
What?
nowadays, they will not tell you to commit seppuku, so cut your stomach, pull out your bowels, and then someone chops your head. But instead, you need to shave off all your hair and you need to bow down and like, oh, prostrate. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, please forgive me.
Oh,
So yeah.
I would never make it in that culture. I little backstory on me, Nikki. I did a couple years in prison for selling pot.
Mm. You should have come to Amsterdam. You never would have been arrested. We're all
I,
like,
well, the
fine.
problem there, Nikki, is that I never would have left.
Probably, yeah. A friend of mine who's French told me that apparently a lot of French people, especially guys, come and live in the Netherlands for a while because it's part of the EU, so they don't have to apply for anything. And they do stupid call center work that just pays the bills. So on the weekends, they can be stoned the whole weekend long. And then come Monday, they try and sober up. And if not, they call in sick because you don't have sick days here in the Netherlands. You can just say, oh, I think I have a burnout and just stay home for 6 months.
What a world. What a
Mm.
world.
Yeah. If you haven't had a burnout yet, you're not part of the club. Come on.
Well,
And you
I
have
guess
to milk it.
I did have a burnout, and then I spent 2 years in prison just kind of hanging out reading books. It got me better.
Oh, well, yeah, that works. Whatever is your process.
Well, the year before that, Nikki, I was in Mexico on the run from going to prison and
Oh my God.
living essentially in a third world, playing my guitar to feed my family,
Wow.
making more doing that than I was doing construction on the highway. I was very humbled. Before I came back and went to prison, it was humbled further. So, but it gave me a lot of perspective. It allowed me to travel internationally, right? I can
Mhm.
say that I've played music and have traveled. And my son was actually born there. He's the palest, blondest haired, blue eyed Mexican you'll ever meet in your life. Um, but I love it. I love all the people there were so nice to us and I mean, part of that was probably because we're the only white people they've ever seen in their lives.
Oh,
We were
wow.
pretty far in. We weren't on the border or anything like that or in a
Oh.
touristy area. And it was an incredible experience that I would never, trade for anything. But when it was time to go, it was time to go.
Exactly. Yeah, right. But that's what I feel about the whole Latin culture, you know. I've been to Brazil and there were people that were working at the hotel and they asked me like, "You want to go out with us?" I said, "Okay, fine." So we went out. We were just outside. They bought one bottle of beer and there were like 8 people and we were all sharing one beer and just went around and you would take one sip and I was like, oh my God, please allow me to buy you all beers. This is crazy. Come on. He was like, no, 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 you're here. You're our guest. You're not going to pay for anything. I'm like, ah, this doesn't make any sense. I love you guys so much.
It's beautiful. And yeah, it's nice to hear that it extends through the whole of Latin America as well. Where that was
Mm.
just empty. How did you refill that? You didn't even move.
Oh, yeah, I'm a total addict. I mean, that's my only vice. I rarely use drugs. I don't drink much, but if there's no Diet Coke in the house, the horns come out.
I definitely got addicted to coffee when I was in Mexico.
Oh,
It was
so
the
good.
first time I really had good coffee. And then when I came back to prison, I mean, that's kind of all you got, right? And it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
just like the ground up, freeze dried stuff, instant coffee. But man, when you're sober, right? Yeah, nobody's doing well, I mean, they shouldn't be. I didn't do any drugs in there. Other people may have, but that coffee's that little bit of something where you're like, I kind of got a buzz right now.
Oh, wow. yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I was breastfeeding my daughter for 3.5 years before I was like, get off me, go away, demon child.
3.5 years is a long time. Kudos to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought, oh, at some point she's going to say, like, oh, I don't need it anymore, mommy. But no, she kept coming until I was like, no, no, don't touch me.
Those are my boobs. Give them back.
Yeah, get your own. And then finally, I drank coffee for the first time after like 4 years, including the pregnancy. And I was like, oh my God, what is this craziness?
Have we all been getting this high on this stuff the whole time?
Yeah, exactly.
How
Like,
incredible. How I don't even know where we're at in this conversation, Nikki. I'm enjoying this so much.
yeah, me too. It's like ADHD on coffee. Like, ah!
How
What kind
nice.
of
Well,
Adderall is this?
yeah, right. Well, yeah, you forget and that's what people, we have another show called Get Better Together where I share a lot more of the personal things that I've been through and kind of that it became an outlet because a 20-minute conversation isn't enough to kind of tie it all together, right? It takes
Hmm.
a long time, but we
Yeah.
forget that, especially as Americans, we're so addicted to everything, right? If it's not coffee or soda or beer, it's this stupid thing, right? And
Yeah.
it's just wild how and it's just the brain chemistry, right? And I
Dopamine
don't
hit.
think anybody understands that more than people who are, especially in Amsterdam specifically, um, that you're surrounded by kind of a culture of that. And that's not
Mhm.
necessarily, I'm in very rural South Dakota. I live in a town of about 1,000 people.
Oh,
The
wow.
next town over is a few hundred in all directions. And it takes you a half hour to get to a town of 15,000 people, right?
Wow.
Where if you're in downtown Amsterdam, that could be 15,000 people on your block.
By bike,
Right.
trying to
Right.
run you over.
Well, you guys have bicycle day, so bikes are very popular.
Oh, yeah. There's more bikes here than there are people.
Wow, there's more cows than there are people in South Dakota.
Oh, wow. Do you tip them over or is that just a legend?
Cows are big, Nikki. You don't want to go messing around with those. We got enough dangers. Yesterday it was minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit with the wind chill.
What is that in normal speak?
I have no idea. What do you mean normal speak?
Like Celsius, like the rest of the world does.
Oh, I
Who
will
does
tell you,
Fahrenheit?
that was the hardest part about traveling internationally, right? Everything was in metric. And being American, right? We're so up our own ass that we don't even bother to learn it, right? So you're having to convert in your mind everything, kilograms, the pounds. Luckily for me, I had been in the drug trade for a little while, so I
Yeah,
knew how
exactly.
many
Give me
grams.
1K.
So funny. Oh my gosh, Nikki, I'm having so much fun talking to you, but I don't want to keep you forever today.
Mhm.
You said you have some new stuff coming up. Why don't we talk about your new ventures that you're hoping to have out this year?
Yeah, so I have two different projects coming up. Well, three actually. So I'm almost done writing a guidebook for Japan. But what I noticed with the clients that come to Japan, even if their whole trip is planned out, is that they have no idea how long it takes to go from A to B, even within Tokyo. Like, what can you do in one day? What's feasible? What makes sense? So we have this service where it's called Meet and Assist, and we pick them up at the airport. And most people have a Japan Rail Pass, so you have unlimited travel in Japan for like 1 week or 2 weeks. But you still need to reserve the seats. You don't have to pay for it, but you need the tickets, or you might end up standing. So we go and help them to exchange the rail pass voucher and then buy or reserve the seats. And then I have to translate for them. Like, okay, they're asking you what time do you want to take the train to Osaka? And they're like, Oh, I have no idea. Should I stay longer in Tokyo or should I be early in Osaka? Like, well, that is all up to you, you know. Like, what kind of day do you want? Have you thought about what you want to do? So, I saw so many people that were just in pure misery because they had no idea. Like, what should I do? I only have one chance in Japan and I want to make the most of it, but I don't know. So I decided to do something different. So this is going to be a 3-week itinerary. So from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to sleep, everything is planned out and there's like a time slot for everything. So this is how long it's going to take. This is how much it's going to cost. This is how you get there. This is why it's fun. Here is where you can reserve the tickets, and then you go to the next one, and this is where you have lunch, and this is where you have dinner. So, of course, you don't have to keep to the plan exactly. And I also have some other recommendations, like 3 of the best cooking workshops in Tokyo, or 3 of the best rooftop restaurants in Osaka, or 3 of the best places to go dancing in Roppongi. So you can mix and match if you prefer.
Right. You have
Um,
options.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, the normal guidebooks are like, okay, so this is Tokyo, and these are all of the areas in Tokyo, and this is what you can do in each area. But then you still have no idea, like, what am I going to do all
Right.
day?
It's almost too many
Plan.
options. So
Yeah,
you're a curator and a facilitator of people's vacations, because
yeah,
the last thing you want to do when you spent all this money to get to this place. And now, are there a lot, do Japanese people speak English there? Like in Europe, pretty much it feels like everybody has English in their back pocket and can meet you somewhere and at least kind of, deliver a message, right?
hmm,
I was in Mexico and nobody really spoke English, right? So is
yeah.
it more like, those where you show up and if you don't have Japanese in your back pocket or a tour guide, you're kind of lost.
Well, it depends on where you are in Tokyo, because in Tokyo there's like 36 million people living there. So every area is kind of like a city in itself. So if you go to Shibuya or Azerbaijan or Roppongi, there's a better likelihood that there's going to be people that can speak English. But in other cities like Kyoto or like Takayama, then sometimes even at the hotels, they're not even able to speak any English. I went to Koyasan, that's like the birthplace of Buddhism in Japan. I had 2 groups with me, and they couldn't speak any English. So I was just translating the whole time. The we were staying at this monastery, and this Buddhist priest was explaining all about Buddhism and about the food and about the morning rituals they do there. And I was just, oh, okay, please let me explain. So
Slow
that
down,
was fun.
monk.
But yeah.
Slow down. How incredible, Nikki. I could keep you on for hours and hours and hours, and I feel like we could just talk and talk and talk. But
Yeah.
why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you and how they can have you help them plan their next trip to Japan?
Yeah, so basically on every social media platform, you can find me under Tokyo Tours, and Tokyo Tours is spelled the Dutch way. So Tokyo is Tokio, not with a Y, and Tours Tours. As one word. And I have my website, www.tokyotours.nl or tokyotours.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram on my personal page or my business page. Both is okay. That's Nikki, Nicki underscore Amsterdam.
Well, Nikki, thank you so much for coming on the show today and really giving us some culture.
Ah, thank you. Thank you for having me on. It was a blast.
Yeah, thanks for being part of the scene.
Yeah, thanks.